Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights. On the table today we have us a Buck 317, and we are going to be going over this wonderful pattern, one of Buck's old knives that's no longer in production. You can see what a big knife that is. Wow, what a great knife. But before I get into actually reviewing the knife, you can see we've got this whiteness here on top of the Delrin, and that is because Delrin and Velox and some of those other materials, over the years, it will, quote, gas out, if you will. And we're going to throw this in some mineral oil, and I think we will be able to remove all of that. The other thing is we got just a little bit of rust or dirtiness down in here, down in the channels. And so I thought, before I throw it into the mineral oil, I'll just do some light sanding down in there, try to remove some of that stuff. And what do we got here? This is like some 1000 grit, I think, sandpaper. Yep. So we'll just get down in there a little bit with this 1000 grit, loosen that stuff up, clean it up just a little bit. Doesn't take much. Just to kind of get it loosened up. And then if we have to come back later and clean on it some more, we will. Okay, got it loosened up a little bit. You can always take like one of these cleaning patches and a little bit of a rubbing compound if you want to get down in there and clean it out just a little bit better. Of course, I got one of the emery boards here. Works great. Getting down in there, cleaning that stuff out just a little bit. It's not too terribly dirty, but this is one of the things you can do. You can also use like some steel wool down in there if you want. You can use sandpaper, steel wool, and the likes down in here because you really don't see it down in there. You don't want to use those on your blades or bolsters or anything. It'll scratch them right up. So anyway, just cleaned it out here just a little bit. And I'm going to throw it in some mineral oil and just let it have a really, really good soak. Okay, so I let this soak for, I don't know, around 3 hours or so in the mineral oil, in a tub of it. And as you can see, it has rejuvenated that Delrin. Now there is a couple little spots here. You can still see it pretty lightly there. And here there's a couple little spots that didn't quite get it all out yet, but pretty close to doing it. But you can see the difference there. And you can just see overall the difference in this knife, just soaking it in the mineral oil. So let's talk about this knife for a while. I'll give you some stats and a little bit of history on it. Like always, I get some of this info off the internet, and you know, you have to do your own research. So I'm trusting this information. I think it came from a good source, but you might have other information. So again, this is a Buck 317 Trailblazer, and it was made by Camillus. And they were made roughly between the years 1972 and 1989. And from what I can tell, it was always a contract through Camillus. Buck never made these themselves inside their own factory. There is a couple different versions. The first version, the tang stamp read Buck and then made in USA underneath it. And I believe on the pile side they had the model number. But you can see this one here, and this is kind of the second version, where it says Buck 317 USA. Now there were some special runs, I understand, from SMKW, and they had some printing on the blade. There might have been a special version where one of the blades was serrated or half serrated. I'm not sure. So there are some other little variations out there. And supposedly There's a really early model, a salesman's model. And you can see here we just got the main spring pin there. But the very early salesman's model supposedly had two little pins there, cover pins. You can see this one doesn't have it. So if you run across one that has the two little cover pins in it, you might want to snag that one up. So we got this long clip point blade. And let's just check over the overall length. So we got an overall length of about 9 1/4 inches. Whoops, let me get that back into shot here. Yep, about 9 1/4 inches overall length. And we got a blade length of 4 inches. So you got that really nice clip, nail nick. They are slip joints. And that seems to be a lot smoother. The mineral oil getting down in there helps lube it. I did scrape a bunch of stuff out of there. And this one's opening just a little bit smoother too. Those knives get dry, and a little lubrication never hurts. And then you've got this blade here, which is like a Skinner blade. Couple of wicked blades. I don't have a weight on it. My scale's broke right now, but I can tell you, it feels like it's at least probably 7 or 8 ounces. It's a heavy one. And again, it did come in with a sheath, and I don't have the sheath here to show you. Nice lanyard hole right there. Now, there seems to be some discussion on what metal was used in the blades. It seems to be going back and forth between 440A and 440C. Someone made the comment that Camillus on their contract knives always use 440C. So, jury's still out on that one as to what the exact steel is, but it's probably somewhere in the 440 series. Now, if we look at that back spring right there, you can see it looks kind of dirty. Let's see if we can scrape some of that crud off of there. There we go. So on your slip joints especially, this back spring is important to keep it clean and lubed. And clean it off there. Let's try the other side here. See if we can scrape anything off. That'll sure help your walk and talk a lot. Let's check out the other one. Okay. Now I know for a lot of people they really like these folding hunters. There's some stuff there. Then after you scrape on it some, you can always work the blades. Oh yeah, there's less drag on it. It's still a stiff pull, but listen, yeah. Got excellent walk and talk. And for a knife this old, I have no blade to wobble whatsoever. We can see the 3 brass liners there. And we can see here, when I first wiped this off, the mineral oil off, it looked like it was kind of a rust color. I think I'm going to go ahead and clean these back springs off. And we have to get down in here some more, I think. Got to be careful here with this. Okay. I need to get down in here a little bit more with some sandpaper. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll do a little bit of sanding off camera. Then we'll come back with some rubbing compound and try to clean this knife up just a little bit. Okay, we're going to start with a little bit of rubbing compound here. And let's see if we can get them back springs cleaned up just a little bit. You can see I did just a little bit of light sanding on there with some 1000 grit sandpaper. And it's not about getting rid of all the patina. You just want to make sure you don't have any rust on there. So if we do this and there's a little patina left on there, no big deal. We will, patina doesn't hurt it a bit. So got this cone shape on here, which is felt pad, which is good for doing back springs because you don't want to hit the covers. Should clean up that brass liner pretty good too. There, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? No rust on there at all. Okay, I did some more sanding down here in the channels, and they look a lot better. I think I've gotten rid of the rust. I scraped on these a couple of times again. But as you can see, you work the blades back and forth and you'll get more of it out. Okay. So, before we throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner, let's just try to use a little bit of rubbing compound down in here and clean this out. So I can put pressure up so it's hitting the side walls there, and then push down a little bit, hit that side wall, then just push down and get across the bottom. Yep. Try it one more time for the other side. Push down and just push straight down. And we get a lot of that gunk out of there. A lot of that's from the sandpaper. Okay, this knife's pretty clean. I'm going to put an ultrasonic cleaner. Then we'll have to soak it in the mineral oil one more time because we got it all wet in there. I want to displace the moisture. And I think we'll shine the bolsters up a little bit, but that's about it because the blades look pretty good. So let's get ready to throw it in the cleaner. Okay, we got the cleaner all set up. Just some warm water in there with some Dawn dishwashing liquid. Now, normally I like to open up one of the blades and have the blades open when I set it down in there. This knife is so big, I'm not going to be able to do it with that. See, it just kind of fits down in there. It's a big knife. So we'll put her in there. We're going to let her rip for about 5 minutes. And we'll see what it looks like when we're done. I don't expect it to be very dirty at all. Well, let's just check and see what we got. Not too bad. A little bit of cloudy water there. Looking pretty good. I don't really see much dirty oil or anything that came out of there, so that's nice to know. Oh, there. When we let it drip out, you can see the dirty oil drip out. Let's just let her drip here. That way we know we've got down into every nook and cranny. Okay. Let me set this back. And I'm going to lower the camera down here just a little bit. Stand by. Okay, that's better. And we'll take a look and just see what she looks like. She looks nice and clean, but you can see that soak kind of dried that out. See that coming back out again, that gassing. But that's why we throw it back in the oil. Okay, one thing I did is I took some sandpaper and I hit those back springs a little bit with the sandpaper. I got quite a bit of stuff off of there. But it looks pretty clean down in there. The dark stuff's just some patina down in there. No big deal. So, I was going to grab the bottle. Knowing that we really want to rejuvenate that, why I decided to start over with a brand new tub of mineral oil. And this is Equate mineral oil. You can buy it in the pharmacy section at Walmart. It costs like $2 for a bottle of it. So it's very inexpensive. It goes a long ways. But I got some fresh, clean mineral oil there. And as you can see, it's not quite deep enough. So I just take a little stick or something and prop it up. Prop it up like that. And then she's fully submerged. So now I can let this thing soak overnight and we'll check it again. Well, I let this knife soak for about 12 hours in the mineral oil. And just look at it right here. One thing I did, and I should have done it before, but while it was soaking, I did take a toothbrush and scrub that real good. And as you can see, that Delrin has been revitalized. I don't see any of that white gassing out effect on it anymore. And it's pretty clear on this side here. And I think I took a before shot. You can see we've gotten rid of all of that. I was thinking about maybe shining up the bolsters and things like that. But you know what, folks? Just after doing that mineral oil soak, this knife looks wonderful. I don't think I'm going to polish on it any. I think it came out looking really good. It has the look for a knife of its age. As you can see, we got just a little bit of the patina left on it. So I think it looks good. The main thing, again, is we got rid of the rust. And we've preserved this knife, which is always my goal. Is trying to preserve these old historic gems like this. And I don't mind even putting it up just a little bit wet, you know, leaving a little bit of a film of the mineral oil on it. Because they're going to be put up and stored. And we want to prevent any rust. Now, if you're going to carry your knife, you want to make sure and get rid of any excess oil. Because it will just draw dust and dirt, pocket lint, clump it all up. But you can see down in there, looks a lot better down in there. That brass is looking good. Just a fine looking knife. Wow, what a piece of history here. Gosh, I can't tell you. This is a hefty knife. Now, as you can see on the back springs, I did actually take a little sandpaper and sand on those a little bit before I put it in the mineral oil. And I've gotten quite a bit of stuff wiped off. This is something you can just keep doing. Of course, I got this blade open. Be careful. But yeah, see? They look dark, but they're clean. So if you don't have good action on your blades, you know, you can just keep working them. Soak them in oil again or use some other knife oil. I think 3M oil works for some guys. I've seen in the comments before where they use 3M oil. But this thing just cleaned up fantastic, and what a welcome addition to my, again, my Buck 300 knife series. They're folding knives, traditional, original line of knives. Well, I certainly hope you've enjoyed this video, and until next time, have a very delightful day.